We're going to take notes on our new reading skill for the week. We have 3 new skills that we're going to learn in reading this week. The first one is going to be inferencing. So we're just going to take notes today on inferencing. In your table of contents, without skipping lines, you're going to write inferencing, dot, 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 page 3. Then we are going to go to page 3. Make sure that you put your page number wherever you're keeping up with your page numbers. I happen to do it on the bottom. And then you're going to find this page in your notes. Sorry about that. And then you're going to glue it down onto page 3. Make sure that you don't glue over the page number that you just wrote there. So at the top it says, authors don't always tell their reader everything. They rely on the reader to use inferential thinking to understand everything going on in the story. So sometimes you use clues in the text and your own brain, your background knowledge, or your schema. That's what these pictures show you. Clues in the text, so that's coming from the book, plus your own thinking, what you know in your brain, to come up with your inference, to come up with what you think the author is trying to tell you. Here's a really easy example. If I told you on the way to school today, I saw kids standing outside in jackets, gloves, and hats, what would you infer about the weather? Well, you know that students who wear jackets, gloves, and hats usually do it when it's cold outside. So you would infer that the weather is cold, maybe even snowing if you lived up north, but it doesn't usually snow down here. Okay, so I use the text clues. The kids have on jackets and coats and hats and gloves, and I use my background knowledge of what I know when people wear those things to come up with an inference. It must be cold outside. Now, that wasn't something that truly happened today. It was just an example I wanted to give you. I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to write some text clues here, and you're going to write it down in your on your journal page as well. So, my heart started to race. My heart started to race as I stared down at the broken pieces. How will I be able to explain this to Mom? How will I be able to explain this to Mom? So you might want to pause the video if you need more time to write that down. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So if you read something like this, in a piece of text, in a book or a paragraph or just an article you were reading, what kind of background knowledge would you need to bring with you? Well, first of all, their heart is racing. What do you know? Sorry about that. What do you know about people who their heart races? Well, they could be having a heart attack, but it also says there's broken pieces. So they're probably not having their heart attack, because there's something that's broken, obviously. The author did tell us that. So you usually, if you're nervous about something, your heart races. So in the background knowledge, you can write, I know people's heart races when they are nervous. All right, what else do we know here based off of these clues? Well, it says, how will I be able to explain this to Mom? Well, if they're trying to explain something to a mom, that tells me, my background knowledge tells me that they're a kid. Okay, because like if Miss Bridges broke something, I wouldn't think to myself, how am I going to explain this to Mom? Because my mom doesn't live with me. But kids live with their moms. So that tells me that this is a kid in the story. So the character must be a kid. Because he says mom. Alright, so we're going to use the clues of the text plus what we know, our background knowledge of people's hearts racing and somebody who's explaining something to their mom to infer something. Well, I think the kid obviously broke something that was important to their mom because they're worried about telling the mom whenever the mom gets home. So that is your inference. Did the author say Johnny, a little boy, broke his mom's favorite vase? No, the author didn't say that. But we can infer that this is a young child who broke something. So a young child accidentally broke something badass important to his mom. Alright, so we used our background knowledge or our schema along with what the text said to infer what was happening in the story or what was happening in the text. So now you are going to do your iReady workbook pages 38 through 41, and you also have a word study video to watch.